It's Katie M. Reed from katiemreed.com. I hope that you're having a lovely fall day. Welcome. So good to see you guys. Welcome, Grateful Chicks. Welcome, Audie. Welcome, hubby. Hey, Larissa. Took me a minute with my pregnancy brain to remember your name. Please forgive me. It's super frustrating. Anyway, I'm going to turn around here. Thanks for grace. Okay. I'm so glad you guys are here. If you are on Eastern time, what did you have for lunch today? I actually was feeling, I'm going to switch this around here just a second. Got like it propped on my Bible here. Anyway, I was feeling okay today. And so, I'm so glad too, Larissa. It's great. So I was feeling okay today, although, hubby's having a ham sandwich. That's good. And, Chipotle's, we have not been there. We have Qdoba, but is Chipotle's better? Because I feel like it might be. Is it similar? Hey, Tara, welcome. So before I got pregnant, I was on this pretty good pattern of getting up early and having my quiet time at writing and that kind of thing. And then I got pregnant and that kind of went out the window because I'm so tired. So anyway, we'll have to do a little comparison maybe sometime. Depends on who you ask. Okay, sounds good. Is it similar though, Audie? Hey, Courtney, welcome. So anyway, I was feeling okay, but I didn't get out of bed till like 9, but I was feeling good enough to cook, which I think my family is glad about. Hey, Lauren, welcome. And, so I am 25% Swedish and I wear that with pride. My husband rolls his eyes, but that's a pretty significant percentage still, right? Like with kind of the melting pot of ethnicities, I feel like, 25% is pretty good. So I made Swedish meatballs today and they're so good. And here is at least my secret for making Swedish meatballs that I discovered. Thanks, Courtney. I'm glad you're here. So anyway, my secret is to cook my meatballs in bacon grease. And I didn't know how my pregnant belly was going to handle that because usually sometimes bacon sounds good, but then later on the smell in the air just is not good. But anyway, so good. Oh, yay, part Swedish. Awesome. So yeah, cooking it in the meatballs and bacon grease makes it taste really good. So we had that for lunch, but don't worry, hubby, we saved you some. But today is day number 8 in the restoration project. And if you went to everything is great with bacon. At Bible study a couple weeks ago, I had this maple cookie that this lady makes. Whatever is the best at Bible study, this lady Mary has made it. I always know it's if I liked it the best, hey Mary, did you make these cookies? But they were maple bacon and they had bacon, shredded bacon bits on top. And I didn't even realize it kind of tasted like coffee to me, but that was interesting. But anyway, day 8 of the restoration project. And we had a guest poster today, Michelle Acker, and I met her at the Declare conference. And, she is just a sweet soul, beautiful person, and she wrote today about the art of rest, and she touched on a point that I want to talk to you guys about. So I hope that you read that, and she talked about having spiritual rest and how that can be different than Sabbath rest. But what she said is, getting to the heart of rest, as I called this Periscope, it really is about, have we given God the right to control? Because if we have given him the right to control, we have that spiritual rest on the inside. I love what Emily P. Freeman says in her book, Grace for the Good Girl. She says something to this effect. The cross gives us permission to sit down on the inside because we know we have a God who knows what he's doing. And I just thought, man, when we feel like someone knows what they're doing, fly, bee, something. Anyway, when we have a God who knows what he's doing, we can be at rest on the inside, right? If you are married and your spouse, for example, my husband, Adam, he will always lock the door almost always before he goes to bed. And so I can have that rest of knowing, okay, hubby's got that. He's locked the door and I have that rest knowing that he's taking care of that thing. But a lot of times, we have, God has saved us, so we have salvation. But what about the area of lordship? Have you given him the right to control your life? And guess what? He's already has that control, but us acknowledging it, sometimes we have this false sense of control that we're making all these things happen by our hard work or that kind of thing. But a while ago, my friend challenged me and she said, Katie, have you given God the right to control? And I'm like, huh? I didn't really know what she was talking about, but it's acknowledging, God, you are on the throne, you are sovereign, and I'm going to cooperate with you. And she challenged me to give this prayer, and this is a very scary prayer to pray. And in fact, it took me a whole year to have the guts to pray this prayer, but it was like, God, do whatever you need to do in my life for me to give you control. And that can be really scary. Thank you, Larissa. Yes, acknowledge that God has the right to control our lives. And here's where the issue of trust comes in, is I was afraid if I gave him the right to control, I'd have to, this is really weird, I'd have to move to China and live in a hut. Now, they might live in some huts in China, but I think Africa is more likely that I'd have to live in a hut. But I just had this, that was like a fear of mine of like, oh no, he's going to ask me to do the thing that I don't want to do. Now listen, sometimes God does ask us to do the thing we don't want to do, but it's for our good, but we can't always assume like the worst or like he's this big bad God up there and he's just out there to ruin my fun. It's as we trust him and we give him that space of, you are in charge of my day and my life. I used to be afraid to pray that prayer in the morning because, let me back up a little bit. When I finally had the guts to pray that prayer of, God, you have the right to control, I drew that line in the sand. But we also have to make that decision day after day, moment after moment. I think I talked about that on a recent Periscope. But it's a trust issue. And sometimes God is going to stretch us out of our comfort zone. But one time when I had the guts in the morning to pray that prayer, okay, God, I give you the right to control this day, it was a really pleasant day. I mean, I even had time to scrapbook, and I felt compelled to call someone that I hadn't talked to in a while, and it really blessed them because I felt that prompting from the Holy Spirit. But I just felt like God was saying, see, Katie, I don't necessarily ask you to have those Esther moments. Oh, thanks, Courtney. Have a good lunch break or nap time or whatever is coming up. But anyways, I forgot what I was saying, but that's okay. Yeah, love that I had time to scrapbook. I don't have really time to scrapbook anymore, but it was just that thing of trusting God, and that some days he is going to ask us to have those Esther moments where we go before the king and our life might be on the line. But those aren't necessarily the everyday moments. Sometimes we have those moments where we're dying to our flesh, but it's just attending to our child that's having a tantrum, or it's asking our spouse how we can help them. Yes. I'm not always good at trusting, but he's making me brave. And I think, let's go to the Lord. If we don't trust him, or we're having trust issues, could it be that we have a close relationship in our life where trust has been broken? And so then we're putting that on the Lord of like, well, so-and-so let me down. So how do I know I can trust you, God? But God wants us to take those places where trust has been broken and go to him, because he is a good father. He's not going anywhere, right? And he won't leave us. But I challenge you, if you have not made him Lord of your life and given him that place where he is on the throne, would you consider doing that today? It is scary. In fact, I was laying in bed today. I'm like, okay, God, I give you the right to control this day. And my firstborn type A, firstborn girl does not like to do that, but I know that there is peace when we give in to that rest and we say, okay, God, putting my hands up, putting my agenda on yours. I hope you let me do some things I want to do, but just trying to hand our agendas over to him. He proves to us that he is trustworthy. And if he asks us to do something hard, it is for our good. It might not feel good, but it's so our character will grow. So as we're talking about rest this month, I think a lot of it has to do with do we trust the Lord? Because if we trust him to keep things in motion without our meddling and interfering, we trust him, and then we can rest. I'm going to repeat that quote again from Emily P. Freeman because I love it. Right in the beginning of Grace for the Good Girl, she says, the cross gives us permission to sit down on the inside because we have a God who knows what he's doing. And I just love that. The cross was not our idea. It was the Lord's idea. It was far better than anything we could have come up with. So often, I don't know about you guys, but I try to save myself, do you see the quotations there? With my, with my works and my striving and driving. But, since I've been pregnant, there's not a lot. Like, I won't feel good, and I cannot accomplish as much as I did. But, my hubby has been so sweet to me of just like, how can I help you? And why don't you take a nap? And it's just reminding me of the Father's love, that he loves us not for what we do, but for who we are, and that we are his, and that he made us in his image. And yes, there are things we need to do, absolutely, but that's not the way to win his favor. He grants us his favor unconditionally. We don't deserve it. So anyway, I hope that you are encouraged today. If you're having a hard time with your spiritual rest and just being at peace on the inside, I hope that you're challenged today to go to the Lord and ask him if you have trust issues with him. And if so, talk to him about it. I had a situation where I had flown down to visit some friends over spring break, and I'd flown standby. And, spring break in Michigan, people like fly the coop. They get south as far as they can. And so everyone was trying to leave at this point. And I was trying to get home. I had a great time with my friends, but I missed my husband. We hadn't been married that long, and I just wanted to be home. And so I was in Chicago trying to get a flight to Grand Rapids, and I felt like, God was saying, you're going to get in this one. Or I just felt that prompting, and I didn't get in. And I felt so let down and so betrayed. I'm like, well, did I hear wrong? What's going on, God? Well, hubby ended up driving 5 hours to come pick me up. We ended up staying at my best friend's house that didn't live far away. And I just was like, God, I thought you told me that. And it was where I felt like trust had been broken. But I was thinking about the situation, I don't know why I thought I heard that or what went on. But it was a blessing, to have that time with my husband where we could drive home together, to have that time with my best friend and her husband, and he took care of me. And, I'm not saying the plane didn't crash or anything like that, but he knew what was best, even though it was hard. And sometimes, I think we do hear things wrong, and maybe I just really wanted to get on that plane. I don't know. But, I talked to God about that the other day, and this was so many years ago, but I was just like, God, what was that about? I feel like trust was broken, and I know you're trustworthy. I know you don't lie. So help me reconcile this. And, we don't always understand God's ways or what's going on. Maybe he was just reassuring me, you are going to get home, but it might not be in the way you think. But go to God if you have trust issues with him or you have trust issues with someone else, because as we work through those trust issues, I think we are going to be able to sit down on the inside and be able to rest. Even if there's chaos going on around, we have that rest on the inside. We're not living frantically. We're not breathing shallowly. Is that a word? But anyway, I hope you guys are encouraged. Absolutely. Go to God if you have trust issues, because I think sometimes we just kind of keep ourselves farther and farther and farther. And he says he's trustworthy, and he does not lie. So he either is who he says he is or he's not. And I believe he is who he says he is. He is faithful. He is trustworthy. He is loving. He is a good father. And I pray today that you would go to him, open up your heart. He is not threatened by you being upset with him, or, don't feel like you have to edit yourself when you're talking to the Lord, but just pour it out there, be real, and listen for his answer. Go to his word and see what he says. Choose to walk in faith that he is trustworthy. And I hope as we grow in trust, we also grow in the area of rest and just being at peace on the inside. Well, this is day 8 of the Restoration Project. We're talking about the heart of rest and getting to the heart issues. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about detours. How many of you love to be detoured or rerouted? Not a fan, but, and then I will be linking up to my full post about detours over on GodSizedDreams.com. Yes, thank you, Tara. Oh my goodness. Thank you. That is Grace right there. The winners of the Origami Owl, I drew 4 more winners, okay? So Kristen S. had gotten the first. It's katiemreid.com, Larissa, and it's REID. Tara's got it up there. Awesome. Okay, so Kristen S. won the Beautiful Deep Charm, and then we also had Erin H. from Texas won, and Asherita, I think she's in Ohio, won, and Jessica D. won, and there is one more. Oh, Nicole W. won. Okay. So those were the 5 people that got the Origami Owl charm. If you didn't get a chance to read Erica Jimenez's post, I encourage you to do so. It was the last, I believe, Tuesday of September. And she talked about that, she's more than a like, comment, or a stat, and how we need to value our readers and know that they are being impacted even if we don't see the numerical fruit of that. So anyway, Tara, thank you so much for reminding me. That is a good friend right there. So congratulations to all the winners. Thank you for entering the giveaway. I hope you come back tomorrow for day number 9 of the Restoration Project. And then just a reminder, on Saturday and Sundays, we kind of scale back because I want you to be able to relax with your family and enjoy some good rest on Sunday. So I just share a quick tip on Saturdays of something you can do to unwind. And then thank you, Larissa. Yep, congrats to all the winners. And then on Sunday, we just keep things real short with the scripture, some reflections, a pretty picture, and then we'll be back here Monday again on Periscope. So I'll be here tomorrow too, 1:30 Eastern Time. This is Katie M. Reid from katiemreid.com. I'm a writer, speaker, photographer, and something else. Writer, speaker, singer, photographer, a wife and a mom with Pregnancy Brain. Thank you for your grace, and I hope you guys have a great day. I will talk to you later. Bye.